Hi everyone, my name is Lydia and this is what I wish they taught me about econometrics and introduction. In the previous video where we started to show why attenuation bias or measurement error in the x variable shrinks our fitted line to a flatter line, meaning shrinking the actual slope coefficient towards 0, we managed to prove that beta 1, the actual estimation, is equal to beta 1 times, so the true beta 1 times this fraction in here, so this ratio, which was our attenuation factor. And this ratio is between 0 and 1. It's obviously positive because all of the variances are positive, and it's less than 1 because the numerator in here is smaller than the denominator, okay? And that proved that indeed this entire fraction, which we will call lambda for easiness sake in this video, it's the attenuation factor. So the question that could come next is like, well, what kind of values exactly would this lambda take, okay? So apart from knowing that it can be between 0 and 1, okay, the consequences are that based on that, now you know that in absolute terms, the beta 1 hat will also be smaller in absolute term than the beta 1, okay? And I'm putting here the absolute values because sometimes we might be working with slopes that are negative. So in here, what I'm saying is that in absolute terms, because beta 1 would have been multiplied with a value lambda that it's between 0 and 1, then in absolute terms, the beta 1 hat would be smaller than that, okay? The estimated coefficient, so, is strictly smaller in magnitude than the true coefficient, and once again, this is attenuation bias. The slope is always pulled towards 0, never away from it, okay? This lambda in some of the books and materials you might have access to is also called the reliability ratio. Okay, it's actually a term from psychometrics. It measures what fraction of the observed variation in X reflects true signal rather than noise. And for instance, a reliability ratio of 0.8 means 80% of the variation in X is genuine. However, the thing is that we can also have extreme cases regarding this attenuation factor. So what are these extreme cases? The first one is when we actually have no measurement error. Okay. When you have no measurement error, what happens is that, or like it can be very negligible, is that the sigma square V is equal to 0. So what that means is that the lambda in this particular case is going to be sigma square of the X star over sigma square of the X star. So it's going to be exactly 1, in which case that means that beta 1 hat is actually equal to beta 1, okay? So this is a case where like literally you thought you had quite a bit of a problem with your measurement error, but it turns out it's not what you thought it was. You could have moderate measurement error, in which case let's assume that sigma square V is equal to sigma square X star. Now, in this particular case, what that means is that your lambda is literally going to be 1/2 or 0.5, in which case it means that beta 1 hat is going to be a half of the beta 1. The coefficient is halved, okay? And the cases where you have severe measurement error, assume that sigma square V is a lot more bigger than the sigma square X star. What you're going to see is that your attenuation factor is going to go towards 0. Because imagine you have this expression in here where your denominator, because of the sigma V, is getting larger and larger. So the entire ratio in here should be getting closer and closer to 0. Now, if that is the case, that means that beta 1 hat as well is also getting closer and closer to 0, which means that the true signal in this case is completely drowned out by noise. Okay? So in the extreme case, the estimated coefficient completely collapses to 0. So even though the true relationship might be strong, the noise has overwhelmed the signal entirely. There is a signal to noise interpretation that can be attributed in here, okay? Because the formula by itself is telling us something deeply intuitive. So the lambda, if we were to write it not in maths, but in intuition, would be signal over signal plus noise, okay? So the more signal relative to noise, it means less attenuation. And the more noise relative to signal, the more attenuation you'll have. So attenuation bias is fundamentally a signal to noise problem. If your measurement is precise, it means your sigma square V is small and your lambda is close to 1, meaning your bias is small. But in the opposite case, where your measurement is imprecise, it means that your lambda is closer to 0 and the bias is severe, okay? That's why investing in better data collection, reducing the sigma square V directly reduces attenuation bias. Better instruments, better surveys, better administrative records, instead of like self-reports, these would all help the lambda go towards 1, okay? So attenuation bias shrinks beta 1 hat to beta 1 times the lambda, okay? Always towards 0 because measurement error inflates the denominator without affecting the numerator of the LNS formula. So with this, you now know how to calculate this factor, how to get to the formula of the attenuation bias. You know the intuition behind the attenuation bias and how this is a signal to noise trade-off. In the next video, we'll build the visual intuition and why this happens. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video.